Welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast with Eddie Sutton and Gary Thwaites. I'm here at the finish line of the Lanzarote Marathon. Grab yourselves a big cup of tea, settle down for what will be a sensational episode. I'm off to get a couple of cold beers and a cheese and pickle sandwich. Enjoy.
We hope you're all having a wonderful Christmas and New Year break. Hopefully everyone has time and room for one more mince pie, one extra bit of quality street. I'm more of a celebrations.
Oh yeah, I don't know why Bryn insists on buying Quality Street, because really they don't taste good, Gary. I think it's time to move on.
They've had their day.
They've had their day.
And one more cold roast potato.
Would you
I
eat
don't
a
have
cold
an off
roast?
switch.
I look at the cold sprouts in the Tupperware because we have 27th. We went in again. We had a full Christmas dinner again, Gary. We had all the leftovers, and I was eating cold sprouts out of the Tupperware, and I thought, what have I become?
Animal.
What have I? An animal.
I'm not a fan of the cold sprouts, but yeah, roast potatoes. Yeah, the cold parsnips.
Anything. I don't care. And as I'm putting it in my mouth, I'm actually almost feeling nauseous because I'm so full, but I just keep on going.
Do you do bubble and squeak? Is that a staple in your household?
No. Day after we go snacky bits. Yeah, we go slightly what we think is a lighter regime. So we do like loads of dips and cheese and biscuits, but we put it all out, and then it just ends up being a whole day of picking and eating until it gets to about 7 o'clock. And then people go, oh, just a bit of cheese and biscuits, I think. Yeah, just cheese and biscuits.
George had a mint Terry's chocolate orange. That used to be a favourite of mine at Christmas, but now they do a mint chocolate one, which I think,
No.
Not so sure.
No.
Not so sure. Anyway, thanks, John. Another international intro. Oh, goodness me, I love a bit of winter sunshine. We had Malaga over at Strava a few weeks ago. I think that was right. And now, yeah, Lanzarote. You guys are doing it in style. Thanks for all those intros. Keep them coming in. Email hello@teaandtrails.com.
I did a bit of holiday surfing, thinking how much, a bit of winter sun, 5 of us, a little week away.
Megabucks,
Gary. I went like all inclusive, like a resort. Oh, is that really expensive? Because we've not really had a summer holiday.
They know what the Brits are like, so they have to charge it up.
Can you guess how much? Like family of 5, all inclusive.
Oh God, it could be close to 10 grand.
Exactly. I said to Bryn, 10 grand. Like, who has got? Oh, yeah, that's fine. Let's just go. Yeah. Let's go Turkey for a week.
I think they just credit card it, Eddie.
I could do my teeth for that.
Get me pecs done. Get some turkey teeth. Yeah, you could do turkey teeth. I'm sure you could go to Turkey, get your teeth done.
Oh, get my teeth done at the same time as the kids are at the all-inclusive.
Firstly, a big thank you to all you patrons. Price for cuppa. You can keep, or a mince pie, or a bag of sprouts. I made a big mistake. I've not talked to anyone for a long time, Gary. This is good. You were like, can we get this done in an hour? No. I bought a sprout tree instead of just a bag of sprouts, thinking that they would be nicer sprouts. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's a faff.
My God.
Oh, my God.
It's a faff. I delegated that to a child. Anyway, thank you to our patrons and sensational partners who share the awesome discount codes with them, and we're going to read them out. Precision Fuel Hydration, X Miles, Phoenix Light UK, Protein Rebel, Vela Forte, Tiki Boo, Mountain Fuel, Outdoor Active, Silver Sweden Active Route, the Centurion Running Store, Sportshoes.com, Big Bubble Hats, Fawnside Farm Cottages, Summits, Yugoku Projects, Hellfire Events, Red Bear Sports, The Album Map, Retainer Group Cycle Protection, Summit Crazy, Beat It Sports, Lumi Activewear, Glow Map, Bridgedale Socks, Nav4, Knack Nutrition, Flame and Felix, and Ultra Trails 2. You might see that Gary has been modelling a new bit of merch, but hopefully we'll have some Yugoku Project Tea and Trails running caps ready for early 2025. You're desperate for them, so am I. He got his little mitts on one, and has he shared?
Will be little paws.
Has he, Buffalo? He's just worn it every time.
Oh, some good news, actually. People who are waiting for their bobble hats, apologies.
Oh, my gosh, there were some complaints, Gary.
Well, they've arrived. I've packed them all up, so just waiting for Posty to come and collect. So, yeah, if you do want a bobble hat, don't want to use this as a promotional opportunity, but get in there fast because they do not hang around. Talking about cups of tea, I was in Greg's yesterday with George, and I didn't see it because my back was turned. He told me after the event he saw somebody come into Greg's, help themselves to whatever, as many Lucozades as they could carry out of the shop, and just trotted on out of the shop.
And were they wearing a tea and trail bubble hat at the same time? Where was I was waiting for the connection between
no
the
connection
story,
apart
but
from
no
tea,
connection. Okay. Wow. Oh, easily done though. I often wonder that.
If nobody stole from Greg's, how much would my pink jammy actually be? Because I've got to mark it up to cover for the theft. And these guys, they'll have done the stock take at the end of the night. They'd have been blissfully unaware of the theft. And nothing happened. Nobody kicked up a fuss. Everything just kept on moving. Incredible. Thanks, X Miles, Precision Fuel and Hydration, Phoenix Light UK, Shocks, Beta Run and Protein Rebel for sponsoring this week's show. We use their products week after week to help us train, hydrate and recover. Need a headphone upgrade? Then use the code T10 for £10 off over at uk.shocks.com.
A big shout out and a welcome to X Miles who are supporting us for 2025. Pop over to xmiles.co.uk for all your nutrition and kits needs. There's lots of brands to choose from, which I love. Try out their race day nutrition plan too. Not just nutrition, chorus and gingy, sunto, ultimate direction, and so much more. If you've got your hands on a little voucher or maybe a little bit of Christmas cash coming your way, you can get 10% off if you're a patron over at www.xmiles.co.uk. Link to all our sponsors and Patreon can be found in the show notes or over at www.tandtrails.com.
Do you ever buy the gift cards off your children? Sometimes George maybe has a GD Sport.
Oh my gosh, my kids love a voucher because they then spend hours on the webpage. Honestly, at least a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
Like looking, choosing, oh, maybe that football. Oh, no, maybe that bag. They love it. But the Amazon ones, I add them to my account.
Did you used to do this thing as a child? I'm not too sure if it was a council house thing where we used to go through the catalogue, but we call it bag's eye. I'm not too sure if that word goes all over the country. Where you basically just say, that's mine.
The Argos catalogue.
Yeah.
My mum used to get us that before Christmas as like part of the run up to Christmas. We would go through it for
Fantastic.
hours. So we never get any of the stuff, but we'd just like circle it all.
Yeah.
We'd also then, when we got a bit older, we'd have a special notebook, which we'd write all the like code numbers of everything.
Oh,
and
wow,
work
you've
it all
gone
out.
to the...
Yeah, we went, girls, you see, went straight into all the lists. Oh, it was part of Christmas, the Radio Times and the Argos catalogue when they appeared.
The Radio Times, my goodness me. Makes you feel... Do they even sell it?
Do you know, if you could, I would get one before Christmas because I was a bit lost because there was a couple of things I did want to watch over Christmas and I had no idea when they were on.
Yeah.
Simple Google, you got the answer. But I wouldn't mind a little flick of Radio Times to see, like that very well-known Christmas movie, The Fugitive, that we enjoyed watching.
Classic.
Because you just, absolute classic. Gladiator. Did you know
Another
that Bryn
one.
had watched it so many times he knew all the words? I was like, when did you watch this? So I think he models himself a little bit.
When you turn your TV on, do you go to the TV guide, regular TV, or do you just go straight to a streaming service?
I know. I try to go to the TV guide because I try and support. I'm like, come on, let's see what's on. And over Christmas, there nearly always is like you can just jump in halfway through a film you've seen a million times and just relive those moments. So I try and go to the TV guide, but also there's a load of, it's just
rubbish.
There's a lot of good stuff on streaming services.
Yeah.
That just Virgin River, you love a bit of Virgin River, I know.
I'm all over that.
Anyway, we've got a lot to catch up on because normally we speak at least 5 times a week and you've had your face in the truffle pie, so I've hardly heard from you.
Jolly.
A little bit jolly. My jeans are so loose, Gary, still. I'll show you. I mean, I put them on this morning. Look.
Whoa, that's like one of those Slimming World before and after shots.
It's quite scary, and I've worked hard this Christmas to get the.
That is.
I don't know where I lost all this weight. Somewhere on the South Downs Way, but I don't think it's gone. It's literally just gone from my glutes and my midriff and my quads. I think it's probably more muscle or maybe just water retention.
How long do you think it is before your body stops burning all those calories?
Do you reckon it's just like was on such a calorie deficit that it's taken these 2 weeks for it to just go, okay, we're back in the room. I'm going to start holding on. What a time to replace calories over Christmas.
The sad news is, though, you wake up one day and those trousers will be snug again.
I did think that because I put my hiking trousers on and they were like hanging off me and I almost enjoyed it a little bit. And I was like, I have done nothing for 10 days apart from me and my trousers hang out. And then I thought, no, don't enjoy this too much because they're going to have to get, you can't, this isn't your health. This isn't your normal weight.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer of the body is just like the weight it will be. I don't want to force it into anything. So those trousers, once again, they are going to be snug again in a month or so. But
it's such a good time. You know, I do have a guilty Christmas. There is a little bit of guilt attached to stuffing my face with food. But what a time to have a big, enormous race just before Christmas.
Yeah, but the only thing is I haven't got that appetite back, Gary. I think my stomach must have shrunk. When you do these massive races, do you remember after the Spine, I sat in bed and ate a whole Chinese takeaway, a packet of bran flakes and like 6 spring rolls? I never had that because I was so ill afterwards. And then I reckon that probably caused the massive weight loss, because the week after I still I'd done the massive race with very limited calories, and then the week after I was single parenting, so I was like just surviving on whatever was in arm's reach. Goodness. And then I was still not eating properly for a good 4 or 5 days. So I reckon so your stomach's like it still doesn't feel like quite back, and I haven't got that normal appetite. Like, you know, I get hungry. I like to be hungry before every meal, but normally by 12 o'clock I'm ready for my lunch, and it's still not quite right. But what a time, Christmas. It's not like I've had to been able to have my hand in the cookie jar for most of the days. Some sensational gifts, my favourites. I've seen your favourite. Mine had the same sort of theme, but I had 2 pairs of socks from Father Christmas, one with Lindy on and one with Darky on.
Were they actual? So somebody had sent a photograph.
Actual pictures, yeah.
I love it. Oh.
Actual pictures. So the Tarky ones I'm going to wear all the time. Lindy, she's
dead to me.
No, she's not. I have to wear one of each, otherwise they get upset because they're like, I knew they were your favourite. Anyway, it's 2 weeks now post Winter Downs 200, and I think you're done by my voice. Listening back to the podcast we did, both the podcasts we've done since then, there was definite still residue tiredness, but I don't feel tired anymore, which is good. I'm able to stay awake like a normal person, literally sit on the sofa and fall asleep at 7 o'clock. A couple of times I went up to bed before the kids, and Evie would say, I'll read you a story, and so I'd go and she'd be reading it, and I'd wake up like 3 hours later and she'd gone, the little book would still be there, and I think I didn't hear the story.
That's some like really weird role reversal, isn't it?
Oh yeah, isn't it? Anyway, I am able now to function like a normal human, walk like a normal human. I think about 10 days post race, I tried a little jog.
Okay.
I didn't take the dogs because I thought, I'm not running with Lindy on the harness.
They don't know what you've been through.
Bryn was like, I'll come with you. And I said, no, I think I need to just go by myself because I need to run really slow. And also I need to walk. And if it's sore, I don't want to feel pressured or feel sad that I can't.
I'd feel a bit upset if Lisa had blown me out like that.
No, he's quite happy. He's like, I can't remember. We were with each other a lot for 2 weeks. So off I trotted, and that first run when you've not we're so used to running like pretty much every day, and I haven't run for 10 days. So that is a long break for my muscles, especially as you get older. I think the older you get, the more you need to run every day because the muscles just see that. So got 10-day break, and then also your legs are absolutely, you know, when you have a chicken breast and then you half defrost it and inside it's still a bit hard, and it's a bit like chicken fillet, like real sort of like hard, yucky, stringy stuff. That's how I think my quadriceps felt. Okay. Anyway, I managed about 3 miles, walk, jog, only a little bit of walk, but the jog was so slow. And and my legs felt not like part of me. I felt more Tin Man than Glinda. That's a wicked thing, but you wouldn't know that. So, but there wasn't any pain. So no pain, just still easing out the pains. But I thought, okay, that's a good sign. I'm ready to move again. So the next day, yes, I allowed Bryn to run with me. Lucky Bryn. Didn't put Lindy on the harness, on my harness. She's on a harness, but not attached to me yet. And we managed about 4 more miles, no walking this time, all jogging. And then pretty much I'm back now. 5 miles is about 5 to 6 miles.
Perfect distance.
That's enough that by the end I'm like, actually today I could have done more, you know, being out at this time of year. Anyway, so I've incorporated running back in, and then in the afternoons we're doing lots of walking with the kids. We did 8 miles yesterday.
8 miles walking. Goodness me.
You know us, Gary. We took, the kids were like, you've made us walk from dawn till dusk. I copied a route from Ordnance Survey, but when we got to like 2 miles into the loop, we got to an estate with a gate that was shut saying no authorised. You know, Scotland is right to roam, so you can go anywhere, but I'm not going to go through electric gates with big CCTV and like, you're not allowed through here and the path was going through here. So we decided that's great. The great thing about the Ordnance Survey maps on your phone is that it tells you where you are on it.
Yes.
Like you just press the little arrow. So you don't need to be, you can be totally navigationally challenged. So I was like, I think the other track is up above in this wood, but it is a direct, the contour lines are so close together you can't see the gap. It's a direct inject up through these woods. Climbed up, oh my God, I was breathing out my arse. Evie was like, are you a bit out of shape, Mum?
Oh, burn.
Fair enough, I am a bit out of shape. Then when we got to the top, there were all these signs saying game traps with CCTV footage around them. Oh, Lord. So I was like, oh dear. So of course the kids thought this was brilliant. They were like, Mum, this is the best hike ever. We're trespassing and now there's like traps with CCTV all around them.
It's like Mission Impossible or something, or James Bond.
Easily, please. Anyway, we ended up doing a different route, but it was lovely, amazing, lovely Highland walk. But yeah, we didn't get back to the car until it was dark. Had taken my Phoenix head torch, thank goodness. Lots of walking, lots of jogging, and starting to turn my eyes to 2025, planning a race. But I think we'll save that for next week because I'm still on slight holiday mode, so I don't want to face the truth. Yeah. So I did about 40 miles last week, but 3/4 of that was probably hiking. Don't underestimate the power of the hike for recovery. Yeah. Just flask of tea. Got a new tea flask for Christmas. It's a pricey one. Bryn and I both bought each other, listen to this for synchronicity, the same tea flask in the same colour.
Amazing. Esme wanted a Stanley tea flask, branded by Stanley. For me, Stanley's like a real old school, just a tool brand. Yeah, but Esme's like, this millennial, she wants this, is it Gen Z, whatever she is? But yes, she wanted a Stanley tea flask.
That's what we got. It's incredible. It's got a little flip, because I've had the same one, pre-P teaching, I think I used to take it.
Is it stained inside?
Oh,
brown?
It's so stained. But now it's new, with a little flip top, doesn't leak. I mean, it kept everything warm. So we took 2 flasks on our long hike yesterday, and when we got back in the car, one was still warm. Incredible. So yeah, don't underestimate the power of hiking for recovery, as long as you've got tea with you, tea in a backpack.
Imagine if you're a brand, you produce something, and then for whatever reason, it's just the turn of that product to be really popular with everybody. I heard this with Guinness. Guinness have ran out of Guinness basically because somebody on YouTube, there's a competition where you drink the pint of Guinness and you've got to stop drinking when it gets as close to the word Guinness on the glass as possible. It's like a drinking competition.
I think as well, I heard about Guinness that the non-alcoholic version of Guinness is like the closest to the real version in like all the beers.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good.
My God, guys, this does not get more interesting. If you are out running right now and you're listening to this, I can only say you're welcome.
Yeah, but imagine, like you said about the podcast, imagine if, say Joe Rogan said, I listen to Tea and Truth's podcast. Then overnight, he's a patron. Overnight, goodness me, you could have like 1 million downloads just because of that.
Gary, you wouldn't be here. I'd be trying to log on to record. You'd be like, I've gone to America. Like the guy in Love Actually that goes to America to find a girl.
You'd have Ryan Gosling lined up in a heartbeat.
Right, come on. What you been up to?
Christmas Eve, I think it was the day before Christmas. I normally do a Christmas run and deliver Christmas cards to... Well, you're on, but the reason I'm giving something away here, the reason why I do it as a run is because quite often people come to the door, have a chat, and it's almost like I'm not hanging around, I'm off. This year, I thought... I see. So yeah, I'm a bit mean, but I thought, no, this year I'm going to walk. And people invite me in, I'm going to stay, I'm going to go for a drink, have some time with people who, if I'm honest, maybe 6 months to a year since the last time I saw them. So that's what I did, but basically it ended up me being steaming drunk on Christmas Eve. So I went to Mount Margaret first, and I think I talked to somebody about this yesterday. I think we're doing our children a disservice. Are you a pretend auntie to somebody? They're no physical relation. Yep. Well, it's just all me then. Literally everybody I spoke to said they've done it. We don't have. I'm not Uncle Gary to anybody.
Yeah, but Uncle Gary, it sounds weird.
Creepy uncle. But Auntie Margaret is not really my auntie. She's a really good friend of my mum's. And she said, would you like a whiskey? And I'm like, I don't really drink whiskey, but go on then. Go on, let's have a whiskey. This is my theory that there must be one whiskey out there that I like.
I don't get it too. I'm in whiskey country, Gary. I'm surrounded
There's got to
by
be
distilleries,
a sensational one.
People are crazy. Like, how do you? I can't. But I need to. We need to.
Well, I had about 200 millilitres of Bell's, which is not...
Ooh.
When she got the glass out and she poured it and kept pouring and kept pouring, every mouthful was just like my face was twisting. She knew it wasn't a fun time. So we stayed on there for, an hour. That was pretty good, actually. Then we hit the fresh air. George and I went and got some fresh air. And immediately I was like, this is not good.
Does George know you're a little bit tiddly at this point? Is he like, Dad, you're a bit squiffy?
Try and keep my cool. And then he went to see my real auntie, follow that up with some cider. So I'm not too sure what the whiskey... bottle of cider. And George had some cider too. He's underage, don't come at me. But my uncle gave him some cider. I think he said he put lemonade in it, Dad. He doesn't know how to pace his alcohol. So I'm sipping
how old
this
is he?
glass.
16? Of course he does. And he's just like...
downed it in one. I couldn't believe it. He downed his we gave him a can of Guinness with his Christmas dinner. That smashed that straight away. And then, we finished on beer too. So, goodness me, I was staggering around Wingate on Christmas Eve. 3 drinks in, but... Yes, but the jury on whiskey there's got to be a really lovely, delicious whiskey that I'm just missing out on. But as always, this time of year, it's only for the fact that I'm doing this podcast today that I knew it was bins out there.
I still don't understand the bins here. I still getting the tags saying you've done it wrong. I'm like, there's 4 different colour bins. I can't understand what goes in each bin. But I have found now a local neighbour who loves the bins, and she's putting the right colour bin out, and I have to run past her house pretty much every day. So now I'm like, I ran back up. I was like, nice lady in the bungalow. I don't know her name. She's got the blue bin out. Let's get the blue bins out. Okay, right. We've got our sauce now. We've got our sauce for bins. And is it okay to lift the lid and see what she's put in there? Or is that too much?
Never lift the lid. Yeah, I look at Michael's and Alan's, whatever they've got going on. That is exactly what I do.
Woohoo!
But I ran every day. I didn't shun Lisa. She was allowed to come with me.
It was just one run where I was worried I was going to hold him up.
And then we did a Kathleen Dean run with some mates from Sedgefield, which, every year we do this. They do 12 or 25 days of Christmas, where just to keep members active over Christmas. And I'm on the East Coast, and Sedgefield's a little bit more inland. So once a year, I give them a little tour.
I made a running pal, Gary. I've made a running pal. I ran past a chap running with his dog. I made sure, of course, I ran past him. Just made sure I ran past him. And then I was turned around to make sure I ran past him again, just to let him know, hey. And he stopped. It was lovely. And he stopped and he was like, oh, hello. Because I tried to cross the river, and I said, can you cross that river when it's like, and he's like, not since 1964. There's been a tractor that's crossed it. I was like, oh, that's a pity, because there's all those trails on the other side and you have to run all the way around. And he's like, yeah, we had, a classic runner track of go into details of the times you could possibly cross the river. Anyway, and he said, on a Sunday we all meet with our dogs and go for a run. You'll have to come along. And I thought, this is my moment. I was like, Lindy, I'm not sure. I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds fun. Can I take your number? Where do you live?
Well, I haven't signed up to Patreon.
Before you know it, watch the flurries come in. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Kathleen Dean, really nice to do that. And I think just as like everybody, too much food, too much time on the sofa.
There's never too much time, especially on my new sofa. Bryn and I were watching a said Gladiator film while he was saying every line before it happened. And we were all nestled down, cup of tea, couple of satsumas, and my 3 chocolates I'm allowed. And we turned around and Lindy and Darky were sitting next to us on the sofa. And we were like, you rats, you're not allowed up here. And they were like, we know that here we are.
I love it, yeah. But I'm not gonna limit myself to 3 chocolates.
Yeah, you go deep. I have to have a slight limit, because otherwise I can't move, Gary.
I wonder how with this week's guest, Copen. We're going to speak to Samuel Skinner in a bit, and he's up for the full winter spine race. You remember this moment? What were you like over Christmas? Struggles?
No, I just ignored it. I just ignored the fact. But when I was doing it as well a couple of years ago, we were so busy with the kids doing all their skiing and everything. I think I quite enjoyed it because I didn't have to try and run on all the snow and everything.
Yeah, okay.
The only thing I found was like I couldn't ski as much as I wanted to because I was slightly nervous about falling. But I think the spine is long enough after Christmas that it doesn't have to be the focus. You've still got got a couple of weeks, yeah. And you normally, though it's there, it's not that horrible nerves you have when it starts being 2 weeks out when you're like, oh my God, this time in 2 weeks. Oh my God, this time in 2.5 weeks, I'll be at Burness. I'll be on that track. Oh no, oh no.
It's nice now you've done it and you're not going back. You can enjoy the build up. Lots of Christmas TV. Are you a Gavin and Stacey fan? I watched it.
Did you love it?
I
Oh,
loved
did you
it.
not love it?
I'm not a Gavin and Stacey super fan, so it wasn't like, oh my goodness me, can't wait for Gavin and Stacey. But we all watched it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it struck a good tone. I really enjoyed it.
What I enjoyed the most was they've let the actors have just aged. And I also loved the soundtrack. Every song that came on, I was like, oh, I love this tune. I love this tune. Got to get it on Spotify, man, straight away.
Yeah, there was some, I think it was Maccabees. It was like a trip down memory lane. I was like, who sings this? Who sings this song? Yeah, really good. I watched on Christmas Day, Alpha Papa. Seen that Alan Partridge film? Oh, it was an education for the kids. I absolutely loved it. Chuckled away. It was 90 minutes. You know what films when it's 90 minutes?
Chuckled away with your whiskey in your hand on your sofa.
And The Greatest Gift, yeah, you mentioned it. Little portrait of Rexy there. Esme painted.
It's painted. I thought it was a photo.
No, she painted a picture of Rex.
Oh,
Ugly tears. Eddie,
oh, Gary.
I had no idea. I knew it was when I unwrapped the present. I could feel it's a frame. I wonder what the picture is. I just didn't. Even though my daughter's at our college, I didn't think for 1 second it might be a little portrait of Rex. I've got some coaching questions for you. I'm thinking about doing all county tops. Well, not thinking, 100% doing all county tops, and I want that to be my A race. I noticed that there are places still available for Lakes Traverse, 100k, Dales Traverse, 55k, or the Moors Traverse, 80k. I think they start maybe the 8th or 9th of April, depending on the event. Are any of those or all of those too long, too big a day before, which is just over a month later for all county tops? Should I stay away, or do you think maybe one could be done?
Well, the Lakes Traverse is the most, if you're looking specificity before your race, it's going to be the most specific because of the climbing. But 100k is long, and it's a big 100k because you've got so much climbing in that. But if you're thinking of doing Northern Traverse as well, you could recce that whole route in a oneer, which is impossible to do on the race day because of all the insertion-exertion points. It takes you sort of 3 goes in order to recce it if you're doing it singly. So there's a big tick in that if you do that, you've done the hardest bit of the Northern Traverse. You've seen the route, you know where the checkpoint.
Exactly.
You've got no problem going really slow, and that's always my big thing when I talk to clients is that we know, me and my client will know, I won't be able to do that because I'll race around that. I think if you can go really, I would talk to Robbo because you're doing the old county tops and say, I'm thinking of doing this first, because I think that's only fair, because if you're going to go in, I think the other two, there's so much running. They're great races, but they're not, there's so much running compared to old county tops. You're probably better to bend those Ks actually on the route. So if you're going to do one, I would probably only do Lakes Traverse. Yep. If you're happy to go slow, lots of fueling. It's still going to be a big day because it took me, I think in the race, it took me 17 hours, but I did have a puke fest in the last few hours. So I think probably about 15. So you're probably looking at a 12 to 13 hour day, maybe.
It's the recovery, isn't it? That's I'm worried I'm going to lose a week pretty much of.
So it's whether it's weighing up. Okay, I'm pretty much going to start. I probably get one more week of training, but you'll have done really good long event, practiced your nutrition. You can have given yourself the DOMs from that race, which will then be ready for the other. So I think personally, with the fact that you're super experienced, so you can handle that distance and you can recover from it. If it was like somebody's first step into this sort of thing, I'd be like, absolutely no way. So taking that all into account, I probably would say, if you feel good going into it, I would probably say, the big fitness boost it would probably give you in that a big aerobic day out, because probably a month out anyway, you would go and do a big day out anyway. But you probably would do 50k over 100k.
Well, I could probably easily do maybe a Saturday of 20 odd miles and maybe a Sunday of 15, 16 miles.
You could do that, but you don't need any more aerobic miles. So I'd say the 100k, if you're looking maybe looking long term to help you out, the other races I wouldn't bother with. So you either look at it as a stepping stone and a long day out, or you go, actually, I'm going to go to the Lakes with Robbo and be on the course and do some efforts up the climbs. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just the way you handle the weeks going in and the weeks going out. It's always tricky to fit races into your calendar. Races, when you want to step on a race line, how you handle it. If you can do it right and you can go into races a little bit tired, but be prepared that you're going to feel like that. And as long as you can fuel well, and then you're prepared to give yourself 3 or 4 days afterwards recovery, I think you can do races, but you need to be very strict that they're training races. And if you can't, don't try it.
Another thing that came up, I did some podcast research during the week.
Did you?
Well, I'm very mindful that should we change things up? Should we drop sections? Should we add sections?
Okay, you're looking to mix things up a bit in 2025. You want to add, a new dimension to this.
Well, this is it. It's
you
all
want me to put a pair of glasses on?
And I was curious, something when I listened to another
Gary. Bonjour.
I was listening to lots of other podcasts, international, all of these were...
Wow, you've gone deep.
Kind of top of the charts. I was almost like thinking, what are these guys doing? What are these guys doing that are keeping them top of the charts? Basically, the conclusion from my extensive research, and some of it was quite painful, listening to some of these podcasts. I don't think we need to change.
No. I don't think we need to change. Well, we've mixed up a few things, haven't we? We've mixed up a few sections, and there's always something new and exciting. And let's face it, our chat is thrilling from the word go. People are hung on every incredible. Talking about wise words, let's move on and get some proper wise words from the coaches.
Thanks, Precision Fuel and Hydration, for supporting Brew the Coaches, my main fuel for Two to Helvellyn and the PH 1500. Yeah, transformed my mate's race. Their website and newsletter, such good source of knowledge too. Articles, if you like reading stuff. If you can tear yourself away from streaming services over Christmas period, they've got lots of sensational YouTube content too that you can binge on. Yeah, over on YouTube you can find on how to fuel for an ultramarathon, what do the pros carry on race day, and how to nail your marathon prep. I love this because it's kind of like evergreen content. So London Marathon in April for me. Pretty sure I'll be tuning in to YouTube and watching that, because you think well, I never think I know everything, but I think I forget quite a lot of stuff. So a little refresher video, you might just go, oh yeah, we're going to do that. So yeah, definitely loads of content over there. Check out their fuel planner, and why not book a free video chat with one of their awesome sports scientists. And it's not just about flogging stuff. Yeah, lots of knowledge shared over at www.precisionhydration.com. This week's question comes from Jason Drake. He wants to know how to activate his glutes.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
I've heard lots of people talking about engaging the glutes when running, but I'm at a bit of a loss as to how to actually do this. Is it as simple as clenching the buttocks? Surely not. And I can't imagine doing that.
I'm clenching right now.
So how do you engage the glutes, and how do you know if you are doing it right? For background, I'm a 50-something who came to running a few years ago after a lot of cycling. I've struggled with injuries throughout my time running, including losing all of 2024 due to an adductor injury and then plantar fasciitis. So I'm keen to do all I can to make my running more efficient when I'm finally able to get back to it. Any advice? Greatly received. Many thanks, Jason Drake. Jason, I think we're going to have a debate on Brew with the Coaches for the first time. I am not aware, apart from when I'm doing a physical exercise, maybe like a glute bridge, I don't think I've ever consciously activated my glutes. Trish.
Are you not in a continuous butt clench, Gary, like the rest of us? I'm in a permanent butt clench, which is why I love talking about glutes. Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff on social media about glutes, and a lot of it is just absolutely, people might disagree, but I just think so much of it is absolute rubbish. Like, the bottom line is, if you're running, you're using your glutes. Like, otherwise you wouldn't be running. So you're using your glutes. What we really want to talk about when we talk about glute activation is how are we engaging the muscles and utilizing the body effectively across the body. So we don't want to be targeting one specific area. We want the body to work in unison. we want the body to work as one. It's one fluid movement. Yeah, there are things that you can do to certainly help with that. Before you leave the house, for example, you can just do some activation exercises. Simple ones on the top of my head would be something like crab walk or some step ups or something like that, just to activate your glutes. Again, the science is a little bit kind of hit and miss with that. But yeah, if you want to do it, do it. I don't do any activations for my glutes. To be honest, my warm up consists of an easy, just a very
Mine is
easy
slamming the door and going, I'll be 45 minutes. Don't call me unless the house is burning down.
The train is on. I think the key thing to glutes and to general fluid use of your muscles, I would say, is weight training. That is super important. So things like compound movements, you're using the body effectively to do big movements and getting the muscles working together in unison. So I would say weight training if you're not doing that. The other piece in terms of the activation pieces, as a side for the activation piece itself, so specific things like hill sprints. Hill sprints are absolutely excellent for glutes. So do hill sprints. Another thing is focus on your form. So if you're focused on your form, good posture, you'll automatically be thinking head tall, shoulders, hips, etc. That will then engage your body the way you need to be doing it. Another key one for form is strides. I don't think many things beat good form work like strides. So those are my top tips, and good luck with your glutes. Get clenching.
Russell, go on, do it. Russell's been like...
Well, no, Trish totally stole my thunder because, I feel like I agree with everything there. So the problem is I think people just don't understand why we're talking about glutes. The glute group of muscles is the biggest in the body, and the hip joint is the most important joint in the body in terms of running. So when you talk about anything else like foot strike, head position, shoulders, all of it fails to really fundamentally change the way you run. I believe everything comes from the hip, and the hip fundamentally needs the glute to power it into the position it needs to be in. So when you're talking about glute activation, what it's really about is the fact that most Westerners, 9 out of 10 Westerners, I spend every day of my life watching Western runners, and it normally looks pretty ugly because we sit down too much, our hips get tight and they get weak, and we can't actually fire our glute. So there's two things there. One is the position of your pelvis needs to be straight for the glute to fire, so you can do all the activation exercises you want in the world. You can do them till the cows come home, and it's not going to change the way you run. You need to get your hip up straight, and then there's a whole positive cascade of things that happens on the back of that. If you're running right, I believe that every time your foot hits the ground, you will feel your glute fire. So maybe you want to tune into that. It's called proprioception. If you are running correctly, and I think most of us, again, are not, and that probably means you, and I'm sorry to say it, but if you came down to the track where I train, I would probably pull you up and say, you're not running as well as you think you are. Watching video of elite runners, I spent a lot of time in Kenya where they do run correctly. They don't spend 90% of their day in cars or offices, as we're sitting down right now. Yes, like Trish said, hill sprints are amazing. Seeing yourself running, you might shock yourself. You probably have an anterior pelvic tilt, which means your lumbar arch, the lower back is incredibly arched, and that means you're not firing your glutes as much as you can, and that means you're leaving a lot on the table, a great big powerful muscle that you're just not using effectively, and you could be a better, more efficient runner. But you need to work at it two ways: glute activation, but also bringing it into your running. It's not going to happen by itself. Drills, strides, hill sprints, all that stuff, really important.
There's no time lost of spending a little time each week, and you don't need to add anything extra to your training plan of focusing on your form, and it can just be done on an easy run. A simple way to just make sure that your pelvis is sitting in the right place, that your glutes are working, is just to almost the trigger point I find, and Russell, you've done a lot of work on this, is to relax the shoulders, because if you tense the shoulders and roll your shoulders forward, which is what we often do, especially if we're trying to run fast, then everything goes out the back door because our head drops forward and then glutes stick out the back. But if we focus on pulling up tall, imagine that you're a puppet and there's a thread pulling you up tall, the shoulders will then relax, and you'll feel it if you're running along now. Almost imagine you have got a thread and you're pulling it up yourself, and you'll feel almost your shoulders drop, which is almost a sign to the rest of the body to relax, and you'll push those glutes underneath you as you're running and just feel the difference it makes. As Trish says, strides make a really big difference as well, because they're not so hard that you're running a 5-minute effort and so it's too hard to concentrate. But 15 or 20 seconds of really good run form, relaxing the shoulders, leading with the hips, not the knees. And I think a lot of people do that wrong as well, is that they think by lifting the knees up higher, that is better running form, but actually pushing, imagine the hips are going through the door first, not the knees. There's thousands of different analogies you can make, and you sort of need to run yourself, but those are the sort of things, those are the triggers that I use myself. And I'm a big believer as well that the glutes are always working, otherwise you would fall over. So when a physio says you don't activate your glutes, that's a load of baloney.
But you don't activate them enough though, probably.
But you're not using them, and you're probably overusing your hamstrings and your posterior chain as well, instead of your glutes. Your hip flexors, your quads. We love our quads.
Yeah.
So another really great thing to do is Pilates, because you cannot use your quads in Pilates. And if you have a good Pilates teacher and they see you're a runner, they'll go, I can see you are just using your quads for every single exercise. If you do have problems thinking, I don't know what they're talking about, these glutes, what even are glutes? Pilates is a great way to have to turn off every other muscle and really get into those sort of lower, deep core muscles. There's so much to be said. I think a lot of people get over stimulate, like it's just too much, because they're like, where do I even start? So just start with the basics. Go out as you're running your easy run, pull up nice and tall, relax the shoulders, push the hips forward and feel the glutes work, and then go home and do some squats.
I love strides and hill strides because, you just don't have that duration to let your form kind of go to pot.
Anyone could be sensational for 15 seconds at anything. So I've learned.
Rebecca, anything else to add?
No, I would definitely agree with all of that. I think it's not so much activation, it's or engagement that you're consciously aware of, like clenching. I don't think is something you would need to be doing, but having a look at your form and having an understanding of what those glutes are doing, which is controlling that single leg every time it hits the floor and making sure your pelvis is in a good position. That's what they're there to do, is to externally rotate and extend your leg again. So I think having endurance of your glutes and having the strength of your glutes and making sure they're sort of in use in proportion to what you're doing is where we're at, rather than focusing on, can I physically feel them working during that particular exercise? But certainly we can all be working on the balance of our muscles and making sure that lumbar pelvic control of all of the muscles is where it needs to be. So I think that's where the S&C comes in. It will always target glute strength and endurance in a good C program to make sure you've got the glutes working as they should, and working on other things like hip flexor tightness, which again, as Russell was saying, pulls you into that incorrect position, if you like, or a position glutes that are less preferentially being used. So it's part of a bigger picture of lumbar pelvic control and S&C for me. It doesn't stand alone as a single topic of, if I clench my buttocks when I run, that's the right thing to do. That's what I would say.
Maybe that's the problem with endurance runners. That's why we keep pooping ourselves, not enough clenching.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only time you should be clenching your buttocks. Really, they should be a relaxed muscle in order to work. Clenching should only be done if things are gone south. That's a whole other coaching question. Good luck. Anybody out there with weak glutes, get them strong. Be proud of having a sensational Beyonce butt.
Good luck, Jason.
Yeah, good luck, Jason. Hope that helped Jason. Anyone else who needed a little bit of help with their glutes? You don't know what you don't know. And if you have a question for our coaches and you're a Patreon, then email hello@TNTrails. Pop the words "brew the coaches" in the subject.
This week's main interview sponsored by Phoenix. Thank you, Phoenix Light, for keeping me and Gary safe on the trails. Sorry, I've got a lot of parcels to send, Gary. I've got a lot of things to return to people and send off to people. Various spine bits are going out across the country to various spiners who are borrowing bits of kit. It's all going to go. Thank you, Phoenix Light, for lighting up the main interview. Don't forget, patrons can enjoy 10% over at www.phoenixlight.co.uk. You've been not only me doing a bit of podcast research. You've been doing headlamp. Is this because I've got your headlamp? Because so you were Googling, need a new head torch.
Well, I think some people might think, my goodness me, they only do one product. We always bang on about this, HM65R. And I noticed there was a Warner 62, HM62-T, which is a lightweight trail running headlamp, 1200 lumens. So not as much. I think it's 1600 for the ones that we use. It's rechargeable too, so that's awesome. And if you are, I know these stats are website stats. The actual in the field stats are probably slightly different, but on their website, full blast about 4 hours. And if you go down to, I think it's 500 lumens, you're going to get 12 hours of burn time too. It's got a built-in whistle, which
how does that work? How does that work?
You've got to take it off your head.
You're going to take the head torch off your head to blow the whistle.
You could kind of think this is a bit gimmicky, but apart from race day, or maybe if I'm on the fells where the whistle is built into my hydration vest, local running, I never take a whistle. So yeah, I think if you want something a little bit lighter, maybe take a look at that. This week's guest is Samuel Skinner. Samuel Skinner, he's done Dragon's Back Race, so lots to talk about. He's done the Winter Downs 200. I think he's been on the start line, finished the Lakeland 100 twice, if memory's correct, and he's in the trenches, Eddie. He is just about to do... Normally, this is interesting, actually. Normally, we have a guest on, and they've finished an event. They've completed the event. I think this is a first for us. Somebody who's about to embark on a mega challenge. So I'm super interested. Yeah, hope you enjoy our chat with Samuel Skinner. We had a chat on the podcast. The fireworks in Scotland are cancelled, and I wondered the same down south. What's the wind like down your way?
Yeah, it was okay yesterday. The day before it was really windy, especially on the South Downs. I do a lot of training. Eddie knows all about that.
Well, we didn't see much of the South Downs, did we?
No.
Yeah, it's always a shame, isn't it? These winter races where so many hours are in darkness. That's why I love a long summer. Dragon's Back Race, I know it's September, but yeah, Lakeland 100. Oh my goodness me, yeah, you get so much sunlight. It's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
Literally, I don't even know what day it is. It's such a blur for Christmas. I think about the 28th, I put my pajamas on.
It's like an endurance test in itself, isn't it?
Oh, goodness me, yeah, the body is creaking. I was so grubby yesterday. I didn't tell you this, Eddie. I went for a run and I just missed my shower window. I wore the same kit 3 days in a row.
Oh, no.
Only one shower. That was today. Dirty.
Yeah,
dirty
good
boy.
on you. Practicing for multi-days.
Exactly. Yeah. Dragon's Back Race. All over.
That's it, yeah.
I'm not sure if you've listened recently, Sam, but we started to do like we pop your name into AI and see what it spits out. Sometimes to be fair, it's usually pretty accurate. Sometimes it gets things a little bit wrong, but yeah,
There's another Sam Skinner. Is he a football player? Where was it? Oh, where would he? You appeared somewhere.
Did I?
Oh, no, he's a rugby player for Edinburgh.
Rugby, yeah.
He's
I've heard someone say that before, yeah.
Yeah, because we went to watch Edinburgh-Glasgow the other day. I think he scored a try, and I was like, my God, he's incredible, because I'm interviewing him on the podcast, and he's playing
a diverse range.
The kids were like, no offence, as the runner, you're a lot less exciting, but as the rugby player, they were like, oh my God, Mum, can we go down? Can we? And I was like, I don't think it's the same guy.
I don't follow rugby a lot, but I have.
You heard that before?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you heard that as well. I thought that was really funny, but I thought the kids' reaction was even funnier when they were like, oh my God.
Let's go and see him.
Let's go and see him. I was like, I don't think it's the same guy.
Sam started running to manage weight and restart his sports career after a break. He has a background in football and boxing. Any thought of violence literally terrifies me. What's it like standing in front of somebody who you want to punch them, but they want to punch you back? What? I just can't get my head around it. Full stop.
Yeah, it started off a bit like ultra running. Really, it's discipline. I think boxing is one of the best disciplines you can have. And it's funny you just touched on rugby, but what other sport do you know where you train really hard, punch each other in the face? It's like a sweet science as well. So it's skillful. Shake each other's hands and embrace yourself afterwards. Yeah, it's a gentleman's sport, really, boxing. Yeah, as as a sport and a discipline in itself. I think it's a really great sport.
Yeah, super. My God, I don't think people appreciate it. Well, I didn't appreciate how technical it is. I'm on a YouTube rabbit warren of Street Fighter fights meets boxer in a pub or something, and this Street Fighter is just swinging away, missing every time, and the boxer just I've obviously watched something, and then YouTube realized I enjoy that kind of content, and then the boxer just goes pop, and that's it. It's all over.
Yeah, so my original sort of background was football from an early age. Played quite competitively for Southampton Academy when I was younger, and then on to Eastleigh Football Club. I got released from Southampton at about 13, 14. So I've always been really sporty and, trained hard from an early age. Dabbled a bit, obviously, in running. I think I just fell out of love with football when I was about 18. I went out and played in the Malmo Cup for a side called Eastleigh in the youth team, and actually got signed on for their first team when I got back. I played really well out there, and literally overnight I just give it up. Never really played again. Get good at things and then just sort of drop them. I then started. I had a few years away from football. Yeah, and then I found running. And originally I just signed up to a marathon in 2017 to aim for something to get fit for. Yeah, I haven't really looked back.
Your first time you put a bib on was a marathon?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me.
Yeah.
Normally people go to park run, they do a 10K, maybe a half marathon, then the marathon.
Sorry, no, well, that is a lie. I did the Portsmouth Great South Run in about 2017, I think it was, 2016, 2017. And then after that, it was the marathon.
He has completed several challenging ultra-distance races, including Lakeland 100. You must have been, so last year and the year before, so we were both on the same trails, but hours apart, I think, Sam. And the Race Across Snowdonia. He also participated in the Dragon's Back race. Sam took part in Centurion Winter Downs. That would have been 2023.
Yeah.
Finished in second place, running for almost 52 hours straight. I found a lovely entertainment, it made me giggle anyway, from a quote from the Daily Echo. The father of one had to settle for second place after he started to lose his mind towards the end of the challenge and got lost. He became so delirious that he asked trees for direction. It's a well-known fact, Sam. Trees are rubbish.
Yeah, they are.
Trees are rubbish at direction.
Not very helpful, yeah. But yeah, that was an experience.
It's funny because these we can talk about the Spine Race, we've got the Winter Downs, Dragon Back race. These epic races almost become normal conversation. I think it's easy just to think they are normal, but no, my goodness me, the reality is they are far from it. Sam raised £16,000 for the children's ward at Southampton General Hospital during the Winter Downs 200. Oh my goodness me, Sam, 16 grand. That is phenomenal. As a parent, we're all parents here. Yeah, I don't think there's many things that I find more emotional than watching kids suffer. Yeah, so to raise so much money for children's ward, that is sensational. Thanks for doing that. How did AI do?
I tell you what, I'm always shocked at modern technology now. I mean, you saw me scuffling around with my earphones and trying to plug myself in and connect today. It's I'm not very techie. Yeah, it sort of fairly sums up brief description of me. Yeah.
You didn't do Marathon des Sables, which Gary and I both had that sent us heavy in our AI intro, which neither of us have done, but the whole intro is centered around. So a bit disappointed about that. Yeah. Just under 2 weeks to go till the Spine. How are you feeling, Sam? Any niggles? Could you enjoy Christmas? Gary was asking me earlier if I enjoyed Christmas before the Spine, and I was kind of like, well, it's long enough away that you can. It's not sort of like right there because you've still got a couple of weeks. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good, really, really positive. I only really signed up to it mid-October. So I'm always keeping myself fit, obviously, and I had a big year. I just feel it's probably one of the first races, and I'm always honest. There's no excuses going into this. I don't think I've recce'd the whole course in the last 9 weeks, wow. So it's fresh in my mind. We've had storms on Crossvale. Yeah, got all the conditions that I was hoping for when recceing. I'm really looking forward to it, but it's always been there, at the back of my mind. Obviously Christmas with the kids, it's great, but when you know what it's like, Eddie, with the spot, it's just there in the back of your mind. It's like, oh yeah, it's fine. You know, remember to pack that, or must get that on the next shopping trip, etc. So yeah, it's there in the back of the mind, and I just can't wait to get going now.
I remember Christmas Day, we had a little hut up by us, a little refuge, and we always took the kids up there on Christmas Day, and then they could sledge down. And I hiked up to it, the Bryn Drove, and I hiked up with the spine pack because I wanted the pack to be part of Christmas. I was like, the bag must be enjoy Christmas, because the bag becomes such a part of you, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Taking all that equipment for a very long walk that most of it you're not going to use.
It's funny you said that, because I did actually take some of my spine kit to Centre Parks just before we broke up. But I didn't. I thought I can't run around Centre Parks with my backpack. But my son, who's 15, did. He had a big backpack on and went for a run with me around Centre Parks. And he's sort of really embracing it now. So yeah.
Do you think there's an Instagram account or a Facebook page to create that we could have, like places your spine kit has been, travels you've taken it on? Where has that poo shovel been?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love it. I know good memories are probably defined by how you are feeling at any moment in time. But yeah, assuming everything goes well, is there a particular part of the course that you're looking forward to?
I think it's important when you know all about recceing. You know, things like when I got up there on my own, which I think is quite important, especially in a race like the Spines, to get out on course on your own with your own feelings in those conditions, trialing your kit, nutrition. Little funny story. I was up there recceing from Hebden to Hawes. I'd organised, I thought, logistically brilliant. I'll book a taxi. So I booked a taxi for when I got to Hawes. I completely cocked up my timing, so I was 3.5 hours late. I rung him when I was about 2 hours away, and I said, I'm ever so sorry, you're just going to have to wait there. You know, I'll pay you extra when we get there. So I got down into Hawes, you know, relieved, got there, and I was stinking. It was absolutely soaking wet with sweat, and
you must have.
You know when you can smell yourself.
Such a sweat one as well, being like, gotta get there for the taxi. No nice recce for me. Come on.
Yeah. So I've got in the taxi, and he's looked round. He's really frosty, and I've started taking my smelly socks and shoes off, and I've put them in. I said, look, I will make it up to you. Anyway, we've driven from Hawes and we're starting to head back towards Hebden, where I left my car. We sort of hit common ground talking about curries. And I was salivating. I was so hungry. And he started telling me about his local curry house in near Halifax. I said, I'll tell you what, if you take us there now, I'll buy you whatever curry you want, and we'll have a catch up. And that's what we did. He had 3 or 4 jobs to do, and he was brilliant. And I think it's stories like that away from the running. So I'm hoping when I reach Hawes, I'll have a little smile on my face, because I think that's what it's about as well, is enjoying those recce's.
He might be there. He'll be following your dot, and
I've got his number, so I might text him and say if he wants to do an Uber Eats or something and bring a curry.
I love that, and I definitely think, because that is getting to Hawes is such a big, you know, you'll be really done. You'll be like so looking forward to just getting at Hawes and having a bit of a reset. That Cam High Road will be a bit emotional, but you'll be chortling to yourself about the taxi driver and the curry. And the last time you were on it, you'll be like, moving a little bit slower now than last time.
I know many times that taxi driver's told the story. Yeah, this crazy guy came. He bought me.
He stank. Oh my God, I've never smelled.
It was quite funny. He changed his tune once we got into the curry house. He was FaceTiming his wife, and I don't think she thought it was a bit odd as well. But,
I love it. Okay, well, we ask all of our guests, where are you? What's the view from your window? And have you been for a run today?
I am in my shed office at the back of my garden, and if I look out the windows, I can see my hedge, my garden. But if I was to look out my front door, I'd see a couple of goats and probably my 2 dogs running around the garden, and some chickens and tortoises and God knows what. So got a bit of a menagerie.
Have you? Let's talk about the relationship between the goats, the dogs, the chickens. Do they get on?
There's been a few instances with the chickens, but we won't go into that.
Let's gloss over that.
Yeah.
We're quite keen to get some chickens, and we have a little shed that I could convert, but my dogs are bird dogs, and I'm worried about bringing chickens into dog territory.
We've got whippets, and so they've got used to them now. My wife Amanda, she should have been a zookeeper. She rescues battery hens. Obviously, we're used to they don't always last too long, which is a bit sad.
Yeah, but they've had a lovely time with you.
Yeah,
they've had a lovely time. They've had the lovely. And the goats. Sorry, I know we're going off the running, but this is just. And the goats. This is Sid and Stan.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're boys. I was going to ask if you had milk from the goats.
No.
No. But aren't goats notorious at like escaping? Do they end up create this vision?
Absolute nightmare. And you can't have any flowers or anything like that in the garden because they just eat everything. Goats are really good if you've got like an overgrown garden with stinging nettles.
Yes, I can provide all this. Yes.
Then they'll come in and just eat the lot.
It's not one of our quick fires, but are the dogs allowed on the sofas?
Amanda is soft as anything. Yeah, if I had anything to do, they wouldn't. But they do go up on the sofa.
Whippets are made. They need that. They are made for sofas, aren't they? They're like, I'm not going on the floor. I'm up here. I'm the queen.
It's quite funny because everyone thinks obviously they're really quick and they're great for going out on your Sunday long runs and things like that. But they are lap dogs, literally. They only need 20, 30 minutes a day and they're just lounge around. They're such great temperament.
And their ears, they're so soft. Yeah. Right. Let's get back to running. Have you been for a run? Have you been for a run today?
I haven't been for a run today, but I am going this afternoon. I've got a undulating tempo trail run to do later. So it'll be sort of between 8 and 9 miles.
Are you coached?
I was self-coached, but now I got Donnie. Do you know Donnie Campbell, who's won?
Yeah. Yeah.
A few races. So working a bit with him at the moment, which is really good. I could self-coach, but I quite like having someone to bounce ideas off, and it's that relationship that we can chat and let them know how sessions are going and things like that.
Because let's face it, wives and husbands, especially if they're not runners, they're not interested, and so having like Gary, he just talks to me about his running, like
The amount of times I've tried to ask Lisa about a threshold session, she is not. She's not interested. So what's local running like for you? Eddie and I, we're banging on your door, Sam. Where are you going to take us? What's your local highlights?
Local highlights is obviously the South Downs way, sort of 10, 15 minutes up the road. So I would take you and Eddie to the George and Falcon pub. We've set up a little trail running group there, which is great. And I would take you on the Beacon Loop, which is about 8 or 9 miles, which I'm probably going to do later on today, of undulating hills. We'd take on Beacon Hill, which is about 300 meters. It's a bit pathetic compared to what you're used to, and a few other up and downs. And that's where I'd take you.
Can we walk a bit? Because I'm still quite tired.
Yeah. You would have walked up Beacon Hill on the 200.
As you were saying it, I was seeing the lights on the top of Beacon Hill. Is that
That's
right?
it.
It's got the big, I was seeing those lights, but we could go back. We could create some new memories, and we could, I think I'd be all right with 8 or 9 miles as long as the chat was good. Yeah. And there was a little bit of hiking up there.
So there may be somebody listening who lives local to you, Sam. What is the George and Falcon trail runners? Do you meet up every week, go for group runs?
Yeah, it's really sort of taken off, really. We started off, it was just a couple of mates meeting at the George and Falcon pub, ironically, which is in Warmford, just at the bottom on the South Downs Way there by Beacon Hill. And we would just meet in there, on a Saturday or a Sunday, early mornings, because a lot of us have got children, so we always like to get the running out of the way early doors, sort of 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning we meet.
Oh my god.
I have gone
and then it's really taken off, and we've got our WhatsApp group now. There's 92 in our WhatsApp group.
That's not a WhatsApp group, that's some sort of society.
Yeah. And you know what, and it's great, with this trail running community, some of them are police officers, directors, builders, we've got ex-drug addicts, alcoholics, you name it, we've got it. But it just sort of strips you down, doesn't it, this trail running? You know, we're just all out there for our own reasons, and it's great. And we've sort of segmented ourselves into little groups. So we'll do easy runs, and, you know, we'll do obviously tempo sessions, hills at St. Catherine's Hill. And yeah, people are doing races all over Europe or just local 5-10Ks, and it's just lovely, and everyone bounces off each other, and we've, you know, it's really taken off around here, and a lot of them are doing Centurion races and things like that, going really well. Yeah,
you make a great point. Yes, you go to a running club, and yeah, you've got GPs, you've got builders, you've got people doing podcasts and stuff like that. It's a real diverse mix of employment, people that you would never normally meet. It was a real breath of fresh air actually the first time I went to a running club. So goodness me, maybe this is not a typical week, but what would a typical week look like for you? You're doing, it's because races are different. Obviously you've done like Lakeland 100 and shorter stuff, but then now with the Winter Downs 200 and the spine race, so appreciate they are very different. But would you still be throwing in some interval sessions and stuff like that, going to the gym?
Yeah, definitely. So do obviously a lot of zone 1 and 2 for base fitness, sort of always around 10K up to about 10 miles. So Monday and Tuesday would look like that, with or without the club. And then a Wednesday is usually a hard interval session or a hill session. So it'd be sort of 10 times St. Catherine's Hill, which is about 3.5 minutes up with about 350 meters, and then running down times 10. The running down's like your 2 minutes, 1.5, 2 minute rest. So I like to keep it sort of undulating up and down, and like active recovery on the lead up to this, some sort of longer intervals, sort of 10 minutes on the treadmill at 15%, with a 2 minute recovery, which is great. It doesn't quite go into zone 4, but you just keep that, you know, that steady
smile.
Yeah.
We love that one. Yeah.
We love it. Because you can almost like not dread it, because you're like, it's not your 3 minute hill reps.
Yeah. It's not zone 4. It's okay.
It's not zone 4. It's not. I want that on my t-shirt. If it's not zone 4, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, you see it on the plan. I see that on the plan sometimes. It's like, get in. It's going to be hard, but I'm not going to be rinsing myself. I love a high zone 3. Like you say, you're not quite in that zone 4. I love it. And also, like, you know, we do these races where we're climbing up hills for long periods of time. Yeah, you're going to be in that high zone 3 just by the nature of what you're doing.
Just looking at Beacon Hill, I'm sweating.
Yeah. But yeah, being down south, we have to do a lot of reps, unfortunately, or drive to South Wales.
What about gym work? Do you still use any of like your boxing strength work and your football work in the gym?
Yeah, so I've just recently started doing a bit more band work. I suffered a bit with tendonitis on the 200, which slowed me down a bit. And so I've been working on that, doing band work in the sauna, actually. So saunas, I swear by, I've been sort of incorporating those 4 or 5 times a week at the moment, and doing recovery in the sauna. So some strength work with bands and things like that. So I get some funny looks going into the sauna with a band and a roller. It's quite funny. You look at them and then you look and their eyes sort of go like that. And then you have to explain what you're doing. And
was that the first time? I did see some pictures actually, maybe on your Instagram, with some swollen foot at the Winter Downs 200. Was that the first time you'd had anything like that kind of injury?
I've got quite bad tendonitis, and again, all of these and the races, it's all learning curves for me. It's a bit like, you know, life in general. I'm a big believer in that. You've got to make the mistakes and learn. You know, I had my shoes done up too tight, and the gaiters were a bit too tight as well. I didn't loosen them when I should have done. I carried on running, and I paid the price for that later on. They really did swell up, you know, badly.
Did James Noble say something similar for his spine race?
It's quite common because you probably didn't lace them up any different than maybe a normal race, but then just that swelling of time on feet. Yeah. It only has to be a tiny bit, doesn't it? A little bit of friction, and then your tendons, which are so grumpy anyway, they just need a little bit of, they're like a toddler, a little poke.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about 2024, a big year. You've already covered some big miles, a big eclectic Gary's smorgasbord of races, of ETS 100K, Lakeland 100 and TDS. That turnaround between Lakeland 100 and TDS, Because that was that about 6
Stupid.
weeks.
Yeah, it was stupid, Eddie.
Oh, good. I'm glad you said that because I was just pushing you
6
into
weeks.
like under 6 weeks. Yeah.
I'll tell you what that was. That was a family holiday. Typical me. We're going to go and have a lovely family holiday. We got a friend that's got a place in Les Houches.
Yeah.
So we're going to stay there, watch the UTMB, have a lovely week, walking in the hills. And then a few weeks before, we got one of those emails from UTMB saying that they've released 30 places for TDS. And my wife even said, she said, you're going to be, Lakeland was. I mean, you could argue Lakeland was probably a little bit close to UTS, for an elite performance, Don't get me wrong, I went to the trenches massively and I just shouldn't have run it, but, I death walked it in the end.
We've all been there.
But it was a typical me, let's just book that. Oh, it'll be fine. I'll do it in a day and then we'll just enjoy the rest of the family holiday. And it turned into...
You'd almost be better off doing UTMB than TDS because... Yeah. I imagine death marching UTMB is slightly easier than TDS.
Yeah.
On the terrain you're doing, but
yeah.
Live and learn, hey, as you said. You live and learn. Yeah. Tell us a bit about Lakeland 100. How did that go?
After UTS, I had a great race at UTS. I actually went into it injured and I was 50-50 whether I was going to do it or not. But I had a really good UTS and I think I got top 10 in that. In the UTMB race, so I was really, really happy with that. But going into Lakeland, I left no stone unturned. I'd done the whole, recce'd the whole course, and I ran it the year before, and I really wanted a top 10 performance there. And I got really unlucky. I teamed up with Mark, Gavin, Kim for the first sort of 45, 50 miles. I was running really well, and then once I got on that coach road, I had a real bad fall, slipped over. Smashed my knee, sort of jogged into Dalmain. I knew my race was pretty much over there. I sort of hobbled to the next check. You got that half checkpoint at the bottom of that road, got to the top, and then I fell over, snapped my pole, and it just all went to pot.
Oh my goodness me.
And I saw my son was out on course, and he said, don't give up, Dad. That was going to be my first DNF. And I just went, do you know what? I looked at him in the eyes and I've always taught him, never give up, always try your best. And I carried on and hopped it through. I did all right. I think I did it in 25 hours, something like that. I'd be lying to you if I said it wasn't what I went for.
It's so cruel that, because out of all the course, you'd think you don't really have to worry about tripping over on the coach road. You've done all the technical stuff overnight.
So I went through that first gate, got 100 yards onto the coach road and just, lost my balance, fell over and they were gone, and it was just sort of disheartening, But again, it's all a learning curve.
Yeah. Well, fair play. My goodness me, fair play for getting it done. A lot of people would have thrown the towel in there. A sensational.
Not me. I'd have been there with you, Sam, groveling it in. I'm going to finish this. Were you always going to do the spine race then? Was that already on the horizon with those big races lined up?
Oh, definitely. But I'll be completely honest. I wanted to do my apprenticeship, if you like, in the spine. I wanted to do some, the south and the north.
Yeah, that's what I was asking Gary that before we recorded. Wondering if you'd done those, and we didn't think that you had. No.
So ideally, that would have been in the script, but there is no script, and I was lucky enough to get a little bit of an opportunity with Phoenix.
One, I hadn't recce'd 3/4 of it, and I'd never done any of the races either. I think sometimes a little bit of like, not, you've done your recce's, you've done your time, you've got some big races under your belt, but actually like not having done the others, when you get to all the bits that you've heard of, like that aren't there on the course, the mountain rescue, extra little checkpoints, people, like all the stuff that you've heard of that you're like, Greg's Heart, like those little bits, you won't have been like, oh yeah, I remember this last time. You'll be like, oh, John, hi. Oh, those chili noodles. They're quite chili. I've had gels for the last 100 hours. So it's how have you found the training? Because it's, even though you've done like mega races, it's very different, isn't it? A spine training, or maybe you've done it differently. What does the training look like? And have you enjoyed it?
I have enjoyed it. Obviously, the downside is that I've gone up for a couple of nights away from the family. You know, they understand, and they've been brilliant with that side of things. But yeah, I have once I'm out there, I really enjoy it. You'll know with the Pennine Way, it's got that sort of aura about it. You know, it's really wild and barren some areas, you know, especially when you're out there on your own. You just can't help but think what it's going to be like on the race. And you know, and I've just really enjoyed it, trialing new kit, nutrition. Yeah, I've absolutely loved the race.
What bag have you gone for?
God, that's always so I've tested out 4 or 5, but I've gone with the and I've never used any of their gear before, but the Innovate 20 litre.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah, I actually did. Yep. Yeah, because I get on really well with the Salomon 12 litre.
Oh, it's good, that one, isn't it? Yeah, just can't quite fit everything in.
You can't.
And do you know what the weight is? Have you like focused down on the weight, or are you like not making them know?
I've been training with about 8 kilos.
Yeah,
but I haven't done a final weigh-in yet.
No,
I'm still waiting on one last little bit of kit.
I think as well, it starts at 8 kilo, but then as you can progress along the Pennine Way, it does get lighter because you basically just put everything on that is in that bag. And I mean, the biggest thing that I can tell you, the biggest thing is to know where everything is, because you have to repack and pack that bag so many times in the checkpoints, and you pack it all up, and then you have to, this is, I think, almost worse than actually doing the spine itself. Is as you leave the checkpoints, you have to be all packed up, ready to go. And they're really good at looking after you, because obviously you've lost your mind, and they could probably hand you a toddler and say, by the way, you need to carry this child for the next, and you'd be like, oh, right. Okay, yeah. Okay, so on the magic kit, I'll take that. But so you get all packed up, you're about to, and then there's a guy or gal with a clipboard that goes, and now I need to see 3 bits of this kit, and then you have to unpack it all. But it's good because you do lose your mind. So you could have put anything in that bag, and the last thing you ever want to do is fail a kit check. So knowing where, having a place, but that Innovate bag is really good because it's got so many good little pockets, hasn't it? That you'll have it all like, right, my cup's in there, my handheld GPX, which isn't even turned on.
Yeah, and I quite like being able to get to things on the side, like food and things. So it was just about big enough, I think. It's right on the limit, that pack. It's a 20 litre, because I did a lot of training with the 35 litre Salomon, the Ultimate Direction and Instinct. I use their packs for everything, but I just couldn't quite get on with the 20 litre, or the 40 litre was way too big. It just sat a bit different on my back, and I've actually got scars from various packs that I've been, trialing on big days, and I've just got to be realistic, and that ticked the boxes for me, so I'm going to go with that one.
I wonder if that's the pack that Hannah and Sarah Perry will be using.
Yeah, it is. You talked about your fueling, dialing in your fueling, maybe a bit different from more high intensity races.
Yeah,
Anything
definitely.
you found? Because we found, well, Gary's stolen it now, but I found Baby Bells, olives and minstrels.
Incredible.
Freddos. You introduced Freddos to the party. Anything you found, Sam?
It's weird because the palate changes, doesn't it? Especially over those long distances. So I've got into salted cashews with little blocks of cheese and raisins. What a combo!
Oh my God! What?
So
I'd eat that at home.
Little pick a mix, and salt and savoury.
Salt and savoury. The only thing is that the salt on the lips might be on the second day. You might be, that is incredible. I'd have that at home though. That's the sort of thing I'd have in a little pot that I'd find pre-dinner. I always give myself, when I'm making dinner for everybody, I give myself a little pre-dinner snack as I'm cooking, because I'm always so hungry.
Chef's treat.
Yeah, chef's treat. But then I find, I'm like, how many calories has a chef eaten in that chef's treat?
Might have to try it with some olives in. Put in some of the olives.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Incredible.
Love that idea as well. And have you got any race tactics? We all know that photo from last year of when the 10 or so, 8 to 10.
The peloton.
The peloton set off. I think Simon Roberts has it framed by his bed, and probably in the loo and in the kitchen as well.
Yeah.
But we also know that wasn't a happy finish for a lot of them. Have you... And you're nodding. I don't even need to finish this question. But what have you got any sort of, you don't have to share if you don't want to, any sort of like race ideas, race tactics on how you're going to handle?
People are probably listening and laugh, but I want to try and run my own race on this race. I've sort of learned a couple of hard lessons on, not hard lessons, because like I said before, I think they're all meant to happen, you know, slight mistakes you make, or, you know, I opted not to really sleep on that 200, and I just ended up into a bit of a psychotic mess in the end, asking trees for direction on Box Hill.
Yeah, okay. So have you got a bit of a sleep strategy for this?
Yeah, Semi, I'm going to see where I am in the race and see how the race is planning out. I don't really want to say too much because it might vary, but I do aim to sleep in this race in a couple of places, but probably from between Hawes and Langdon Beck, something like that. Or if I need it before, you know, I'm not going to get sucked into this. If they're sleeping, I'm not, you know, I know, you know, you've got to have a bit of a
You've
plan
got to be in the mix, haven't you?
You've got to be you've got to be adaptable in this race.
Totally.
How's your FAF game? I see. When I was at Middleton, I'd see people just staring at their bag and all their kit on the floor for goodness me, for like hours and hours and hours. How are you? Are you quite meticulous? You got lists, ticking things off?
Yeah, my wife's quite good at doing me lists. I'm not very good. I would probably faff a bit or just grab something and go. So I am that person that needs a little bit of reminding. So I did it with DB, you know, you have, you know, food parcel 1 and then food parcel 2 and have it in a clear freezer bag so that you can, you know, see. So I'll have that at the various checkpoints with a, you know, a different food selection and kit as well. You know, I've been sort of trialing Primaloft and downs and different downs and stuff on the recce's when I've been up there. So it's just having a good choice of jackets. You get, I think, is it 20 kilos in the drop bag? That's quite a lot, isn't that? There's sort of no excuses not to have the right gear in those, but they're quite lengthy, Eddie, aren't they? The checkpoints. I mean, from Hebden to Hawes that was a huge day.
It's almost, you can't get your head around it, can you, when you do the recce's and you think, no, come on, that's not right. No one can go that far. But in some ways, it all just, like with all these long races, you just start going and you just keep like you lose sense of time. I remember putting my head torch on at lunchtime and then thinking. And running along and thinking, I'll get all ready for, you know, you get yourself set. I'm going to get my head torch on now and I can kind of get set for the night. And then looking at my watch, it was 1 o'clock and being like, oh, okay.
That's a bit early.
A bit early to have your head torch on, but never mind.
You look like you need some curtains, Eddie.
I know. I've got a massive window in front of me. We just moved house and they'd taken the blinds with them.
Oh, nice.
So I've got nowhere to go. And it's so rare that the sun is out. Sorry, I'm like, you keep thinking I'm winking at you and you're going, oh, Eddie, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, actually, Phoenix had something to do with you being on the start line for this race. I get this asked quite a lot, actually. How do we strike up a relationship with brands? We probably have quite a few listeners who maybe want to go down that route, you know, get supported by a brand, Precision Fuel and Hydration and Phoenix. Like, how did you get involved with those guys? And then also, more importantly, how did Phoenix get you on the start line for the spine race?
Yeah, so I was lucky with the Phoenix thing. I went for a couple of training runs with John Shields. He was asked to get a race team up together.
Well, he didn't ask us, did he?
That's probably wise. The vomiter and the red shorts.
He was asked to get like a team up together for the UTS 100K. Yeah, it was myself, Zoe Murphy, Julian, Mark Derbyshire, and there was a few others. And I just obviously jumped at it and started using their products leading up to it. And I really get on with it. I'm not one of these that will just use something for the sake of it. You know, I absolutely love their head torches. I use the HM65 RT, real long battery life, etc. But so I got involved with that just through him. With Precision, I was using their products for 2021 Dragon's Back and 22, and I got in touch with them. They're local to us, just up the road in the New Forest, sort of Christchurch. And I was asking a few questions and things like that, and got involved with them by just getting in touch with them and chatting to them. you know, and they've been really helpful with our running club, Georgian Falcons. And had a big group session in there with, you know, the sweat tests, and just really helpful, you know. For beginners as well, because the nutrition I learnt the hard way. I did that marathon, you know, Portsmouth Coastal Marathon. I was pissing blood and all sorts after, you know. I was I just didn't fuel properly. I didn't know what salt and sodium and intake and how important it was. So I learnt the hard way, and they've just been great.
And have they helped you also? Because there's so many, like 100K, maybe not so much, but definitely 100 mile of the nutrition dice. Goodness me, you can roll it and you don't know what numbers come up. But with something like the Spine or the Winter Downs 200, I suppose my question is, have they helped or tried to help you formulate a plan for this?
Obviously, for these longer races, I keep touching on it, is the palate change. Precision's fantastic, but if you have too much of it, I find it's like anything, isn't it? You get bored of it, or you know, it can be a bit sweet. I sort of tend to chop their chews up and put them in with things like cashews, or
add it to your mix.
Good tip.
Add it to the mix. You know, if you have too much of one thing, it can lead to gut issues and things, even though I've got granite guts.
This is one day it's going to go right. If we keep trying, it'll go right eventually. This is quite a massive question, actually. So you can swerve it if you want, but what would success be for you? Massive race, what would success look like for you?
Total success would be obviously to complete it. Whenever I race, and you know, people know me, it's all about, I just want to give my very best and be the best version of myself. I've done the training, I've done, you know, to complete it. I've done past long races, but this one I need a bit of self-discipline and not getting led astray. And we'll see how the race unfolds. But in answer to your question, obviously I'd love to win the Spine. To complete it in a fashion that just the Spine in completing, and it's never going to be easy. But
no, goodness me. And apart from yourself, Sam, we're rooting for you. Who's your money on? You got any eyes on anybody in particular?
Obviously you got Robin Cassidy, raced with her and ran with her on a couple of occasions. Obviously you got Hannah Rickman.
I can't wait. I've got all my favourites selected already. We're going to watch those dots slowly move up the country. It's going to be sensational. Well, best of luck with that, Sam.
Don't think Robbins is going to be moving slowly.
No. She's a beast. I went up and went up and had a look at the 2023 race. Managed to get the camper van up there and go for a few runs, and I was in awe of her. She was so laser focused, and she was fueling on these giant, I'll never forget it, I see her eating these big giant Skittles, and I've started using those now. It's Robin.
I love that when you meet somebody on the trail and you think you've got your nutrition dialed in, whatever, and then you go, oh, Skittles.
They just hand you back something and go, do you want some of these? And you're like, what? This is amazing.
Why didn't I think of that?
Why didn't I think of that? So we've done the Spine. You've done amazing at the Spine, Sam. You've done brilliantly. You've recovered. Have you got any other plans for 2025?
I'm going to have a month or so off after the Spine, and then I have booked into the UTMB May race, the UTS 100 mile in UTS. But I'll see how I come out of that, and
Lakeland 100 again,
possibly go back for a third time.
What a year already! This is incredible.
Possibly, but everything's on the Spine.
Yeah, I like that. Let's keep that. Let's not talk about beyond. Life doesn't go beyond. I think it's good to have like a bookmark on the Spine, because you want to, there's no other option. There's no get out option. If you go, I've got another big race booked, and it's almost like you can then go, okay, well, I need to save myself for that. It needs to nothing happens beyond getting to Kirky. Yeehaw!
Should we do the quick five?
Yeah, baby.
Whoa. This is a tough question. What's your favourite?
This is the worst question. It's like choosing your favourite child.
What's your favourite part of the Christmas dinner?
Favourite part of the Christmas dinner is pigs in blankets.
Pigs in blankets.
Every one of my kids would say the same. Actually, I don't know why we bother with all the rest. We just did a tray of pigs in blankets.
Pigs in blankets,
Are Yorkshire puddings allowed on your Christmas dinner?
Do you know what they are? But I didn't have any this year. They were there, but I just didn't. Yeah, I had lots of meat and veg, but yeah, I didn't tuck into the usual. No, I didn't.
What about ketchup? I know this triggers people. But...
Definitely not. But my 15-year-old son has ketchup on everything, including roast dinners. And
Yes, flying the flag. I love it. What's your favourite Christmas movie?
Oh, favourite Christmas movie. We watched Home Alone the other day, but I think I'd have to say it would be that Miracle on 34th Street, is it?
Yeah.
Coming, Sam.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I really like that. It was just that sort of. I remember watching it when I was younger, and it proper hits home with the magic of Christmas. That one, it really did. So yeah, go for that.
What about you, Eddie?
Elf. Every time. Gets me
classic.
every time.
Do you remember a film called Quincy's Quest?
No, but you're a good 20 years older than me. Just remember that.
If anybody could find that, Quincy, it probably dated terribly. But yeah, goodness me, I remember watching that as a child. I think it was absolutely fantastic. Another one which we loved as a family, we actually paid for it, one of the streaming services, Office Christmas Party. It's a bit more grown up. I cried with laughter. Watch that one. Office Christmas Party. It's absolutely sensational. Any resolutions for 2025?
Be a bit more race selective. Laughing. Yeah, I've already booked into 2-ish. But yeah, just concentrate a bit more on recovery. And
I think it comes with time, doesn't it? You just get, personally, I'm just fed up. Like long term after a race, you never shake off a cold, stuff like that. So yeah, you just get tired of this repeating the same cycles. So yeah, if you can improve a few things, that will serve you well. Bucket list race, yeah, you can go anywhere in the world. We'll book the flight for you. We'll have a word with the race directors. Where would you go? What start line would you be on?
It's important, like you said, not to look anything beyond your A race, which is the spine. But if if I was to look at the big race of something like Tour de Giants later, and that would probably be on the list, definitely.
That's a monster. That is
so it is a monster. I think that's like your ultimate test. So yeah. It would have to be that.
I've got high hopes, Sam, actually, for this next question. It's Instagram story music time. Every week, we share the podcast over on Instagram. But you get to choose the Instagram story music. What's it going to be?
It would have to be Kenny Rogers, the Gambler.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
Do you run with music or podcasts?
No, I always run without. To be fair, I will take music on the spine because it would be so long. Saying that, I did on the last day of Dragons back in 22, I reached for the call it the Pain Cave playlist.
That's got to be John Shield named that playlist.
No. But yeah, I'm 90% of the time I'm someone who doesn't run with music. I just like to be in my own thought.
Oh, Sam, it's so nice to meet you face to face. Oh, really lovely to hear a little bit of your background, and I always love putting a little bit of emotion onto that dot. I can't wait to see it. I hope it starts off steady and just hold steady. Yeah. Hold steady is a good one. Think of Gladiator in the Colosseum. Hold steady, hold steady. If not, I know you'll have your highs and lows, but there's always going to be so much learning there. And you've got all those little babies' eyes on you back at home going, wow, Dad's a superhero. Yeah. He's out running and he's eating all those sweets at the same time. This is the dream.
It's quite funny because one of the things I've been doing lately is that we've got these fruit. Fleur, my youngest, loves these little fruit laces.
I love those too.
And I've been incorporating those in my fueling, and I always think of her when I'm out there, and it's just brilliant little things like that. And she goes, Dad, you've been taking my fruit laces.
It's nutrition.
So, yeah.
Nutrition. I ate one only the other day because I found one in like the car, but down the side of the car, and I was starving. And I even started reading the little card on it.
Yeah.
I've gone already. But I was like, this is actually really good. This is actually like, it's quite chewy, so it gives you a bit of saliva to create in it. It gives you something else to think about. You can unroll it. You find yourself around Burness like going, what is this?
There you go. We got strawberry laces, olives, cheese,
add it all in.
That'd be a nice mix, wouldn't it?
What a mix! Can't wait to see that all stuck between your teeth at Kirk. Yeah. We wish you, from all of us, me and Gary, from Teen Trails Towers, the best of luck at the Spine. We hope maybe you'll come back and tell us all about it. That little Phoenix head torch lighting you all the way safely. What a journey you're going to have. And we will be cheering you all the way. Thank you so much for giving up precious Christmas, Twixmas time to talk to us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sam.
Cheers.
Take care. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Best of luck, Sam. So many dots to watch for the Spine. I'm almost invested in too much there, Gary. There are too many of those little dots with love heart emojis around them, ready to go. But another one to add to my favourites. In fact, I don't favourite them because I like to know what everybody's doing. I always feel, unless you're in a race and I just favourite you and follow you.
Well, it's funny because I did favourite Winter Downs 200 and it made me feel sometimes you were completely on your own when you weren't.
No.
So yeah, I've been going through the roster over at the Spine Race. Loads of people to follow. Can't wait.
I did have a little thought. I did have a think. I thought, if I come out of Winter Downs 200, could I beg a place onto the Spine and see if I could do it? But I think I could. Do you know, I think I could. I think in, what do we got? Just, over two and a bit weeks.
Goodness.
I think I could be ready. I think I could stand the start line. But I wouldn't want to do it to my family. And also, I just think the recovery, no, I don't want to wipe out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
No. But I definitely think it's doable. I just think the come down from that is going to be...
There's a price to pay.
There's a price to pay. I don't want to pay that price.
Stoked to announce Harrier Trail Running as our Strava Club and Tales from the Trail sponsor. Harrier believes trail running should be inclusive and accessible for all. Their mission is to encourage and support people of all abilities to enjoy the physical, mental and emotional benefits of being on the trails. They have some great kit and loads of knowledge over at www.harrierrunfree.co.uk. They have a great YouTube channel with loads of really useful content, and they will be at the National Running Show too, so pop along and say hello if you are going. Yeah, also we've got some exciting collaborations in the pipeline to keep your eyes peeled. First up on the Strava Club is John Keat. I'm really impressed, Eddie. All these people on like a lazy bum over Christmas and all these people.
Oh my gosh. My big sister's just finished Markathon. She's had a busy, she's a teacher, she's got twins. She's been out there I just said, she sent me a picture. I said, you've put me to shame. And she was like, nah. Have I? I'm like, yeah, I'm still in my jammies. I'm not getting up.
What's the dates for Markathon? Is it just you've got to run every day a certain mileage?
Every day in December for 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's quite a lot, especially around the Christmas period. If you don't get out first thing, it's tricky then. Or you're getting out at like 11 o'clock at night.
These guys who do the accumulators.
Would you ever do that? Would you ever do that?
No way. Maybe for charity, if somebody reached out and said, would you support this charity and do something like that? Something really big that would encourage people to donate. Then
How high does it go up to the accumulator? Like, where do you stop?
Well, you run a mile for whatever day of the month it is. So if it's the 31st, you run 31 miles. So early days, it's super easy, 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile. But when you get into 20 plus miles a day. Anyway, sorry, John, we are distracted. John Keat first up, back-to-back long runs, dog, jog, drills and strides on his bike too. It might have been on Zwift. I looked at the map. Yeah, it definitely wasn't in the UK. But yeah, sensational. All that drills and strides. A lot of runners. Yeah, we do our strides, but not many do their drills. 56.6 miles for the week. Longest run of 24.3 and 6,660 feet of vert. Zoe Gulliver, goodness me, so many miles, Zoe. Canary Trail Marathon 2. I've never heard of this event. I think it's down your neck of the woods, Guildford, all around that area. Eddie, heard of it?
Down my neck of the woods? How is Guildford my neck of the woods?
You know
that, you know yourself, you know. I don't know it. No, I don't know it, but I think I should know it. It's been a December trail marathon. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think it was during the night too. So like head torches.
Oh,
out.
Lord
Yeah.
above.
I'm pretty sure Zoe is training for the Arc. Good luck, Zoe. 94.6 miles for the week, 28-mile long run, 11,363 feet of vert. Last up, Leroy Valentine. Leroy hopefully is going to be a future guest. So yeah, watch this space, but ticking all the boxes. Long run, workout, strength, crushing it ahead of the Arc. Yeah, fingers crossed. Like I say, we'll be sitting down with Leroy. 102.8 miles for the week. Oof, my goodness. I should have checked. I wonder how many hours of exercise that is, because he does go to the gym too. So 102 trail miles. That's a lot of time on feet. Longest run of 30.4 miles, 14,199 feet of vert. Sensational.
We had some big miles in Strava Club this week.
Big shout out to James Cooper. He's running 366 marathons in 366 days in 2024 for Samaritans. Yeah, follow along James's journey over on Instagram at SmilingGGG. Man, he's got one more to go as we record this episode.
Oh, God.
So yeah, by the time it goes out on Friday, fingers crossed he is completed. Kudos, James, and early heavy flex. We salute you. Such a tough challenge for a worthy cause too. I just can't comprehend. I remember we spoke to Aaron Robinson. 410 marathons, I think, are completed. I just can't comprehend the mental and physical toll of such a challenge. And then when you're coming towards the end of it, you've got a few more to go. Aaron's was different. Aaron's, there was no end sight. He just kept going as long as he could. But yeah, James, definitely, what's going through his mind as he's racking up the miles today? Sensational. If you know someone who deserves a heavy flex, or maybe you think you've been flexing, please let us know. This is your opportunity to big up a mate or even yourself. Email hello@tandtrails.com and pop heavy flex as the subject. Shane Harris, another listener, and I bumped into Shane Glen Ridding on Two Day Helvellyn. He's completed, be 101 marathons now. Tales from the Trails. I saw this. It's not really Tales from the Trails. I just saw this over on Facebook and I reached out and I asked the person if it was okay to share. It really resonated with me, and I'm sure it will resonate with lots of listeners too.
Dodgy photo. Poignant moment when the final race of the year goes wrong. I kind of knew I was pushing my luck to get there. Sick husband and daughter, late finishing work, grabbed wrong head torch, feel like a rubbish friend, Christmas approaching, still wearing work clothes, not really eaten enough, definitely not drunk enough, late arrival, need a pee, need to get cash out of the bag, need my race number, trying to pin on the sodding race number whilst talking to wonderful running friends, trying to make out all is well whilst actually fighting to hold in the tears. Oh, no warm up, not started in the position I want, start running, can't breathe, stressing about the position, the fact I'm still wearing the bodysuit I wore for work. Oh shit, I really need to pee. See wonderful friend running in a cardboard box. Cue the tears. Sometimes it's not worth the fight. And the fact it was a fight to get there, and I was questioning it, and I drove like an idiot to get there just to please who? Strava? No, Helen. You can't do everything. No, Helen, you can't run every race. And no, Helen, no one would actually think less of you if you're not racing. Oh, Helen, cut yourself some slack. I think you did great, and I hope you didn't get any chaffing from that bodysuit.
I wanted to give her a cuddle when I read that.
I know. We've all been there. We've all been there. I think that's how most people feel around the Christmas time.
Yeah, thanks for letting us share, Helen. Appreciate that. We've had some love over on Spotify, Eddie. I'm not too sure why, but what's the other one called? Apple Podcasts. Yeah, they are still playing funny buggers as far as reviews, content. But yeah, I found these over on Strava, over on Spotify. I can't say Spotify.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But yeah, I found these over on Spotify. They're quite short and sweet, so we will rattle through them. I especially love the ones where Gary was incredible. Gary's electric.
No, I'm sorry. Where's this? What is this?
Eddie needs to do better. Hannah Holgren Johnson, though, flexing again. Gary was electric. Smiley face. Oh, literally.
But I'm worried about Gary was electric. There's no other context in that. Electric at what, Gary? What have you been up to in car parks?
Nobody has ever described me as electric. Really grateful. Thanks, Hannah. Let's go from the top.
We can't read these all. These are it's rather a self, you want to, Gary's all queued up for some bit of, wow, I feel good.
We'll do a few just in case, Apple hasn't sorted itself out. Well, Apple did kind of sort itself out. I left us a review.
Do you happen to be Susie 90210 by any chance?
Well, I noticed the only reason why I remembered it was maybe because my name on Apple Podcasts, which I didn't realise this was, is Silent Scream.
Oh, that's a bit frightening.
Yeah. It's Slayer. It's a reference to a Slayer song. So, yeah, if you know, you know. Anyway, Steve, great pod this week, listening whilst running. Thanks for keeping me going. Love cheese and pickle sandwiches after run. Perfect emoji. Keep up the great work.
Steve, I've got to wean myself off the Wensleydale and cranberry cheese. Last night, I had to put it back in the fridge. Oh, I had to put it back in the fridge. I couldn't stop myself. One more biscuit. Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah, the cranberry and cheese. That is dangerous.
Dangerous.
Do you want to do one more?
Yeah. Susie 90210. Love listening to the podcast. Even better than Marathon Talk was in its heyday. Oh, Gary would be so happy as that. Because there's no boring road race talk and it's not two blokes. Love your updates, daft jokes and access all areas run reports. Fantastic interviewees and great coaches. Keep up the good work. A clapping hands emoji. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Susie.
Thanks, Susie. I am a bloke, but I do get a bit tired when a podcast is too blokey, a bit of a sausage fest. Turns me off.
We love your reviews. It does help the podcast. Can the podcast grow anymore? Who knows where 2025 is going to take us? Gary is absolutely obsessed.
More.
But do pop over to iTunes or Spotify and leave us. We ask for a 5-star review. You can leave any sort of review. You guys know we take criticism super, super well.
Thanks, Protein Rebel, for bringing us home. So far today, I am 2 feet in with the Protein Rebel today. So far, I've had Run Easy Collagen, Accelerate Protein Powder after my run, and the Power Up Magnesium. Sensational gold star for recovery. I'm not 100% sure what the magnesium does, to be honest. I think it helps with sleep and recovery, but I can't take it just before bed because my 51-year-old bladder has sad times during the night, basically. So I have to just sip it during the day, and that's what I'm currently sipping on now. And I forgot to mention this actually, I did try the new caffeine gel at 2 de Helvellyn. Yeah, if you like the maple syrup, you're gonna love them. Also, Protein Rebel will be at the National Running Show too, so swing by if you're off to Birmingham. And don't forget, new Protein Rebel customers can use the code D15 for 15% off your first order. It is a competition, but it's not really a competition. It is a poll. Shocks would like to know, would you consider purchasing a product that is featured on our podcast? We'll pop all the dates over on Facebook. It's super simple. Yes or no? And if you have, was it a positive experience? Yes or no? Again, we'll pick 3 participants at random, 13th of January. First out the hat will receive an Open Run Pro 2 headset. I am doing my best to keep hold of that, Lisa. Big time. She has got her eyes on it. Yeah, that's their brand new flagship model, which I recently reviewed. Second and third will receive some Shocks goodies. What you got coming up? It is 31st of December. So yeah, New Year.
Massive night tonight. I have got lined up my new milk frother and the kids have, no, they haven't. Some Celebrations hot chocolate selection and some sparklers. Make out what you will, the sort of night I'm going to have, Gary.
Gonna pop a bottle open? Bubbly?
Absolutely not. What a waste that would be. I haven't done New Year for many, many years. So I got a lovely message from my best friend from uni reminding me of 25 years ago. We went to Edinburgh, funnily enough, in the year 2000 in our knitwear. I still remember my pink polo neck. I wonder what happened to it. And we partied like it was the year 2000. 25 years later, here we are, 3 kids each, going to bed at 9.
I did London the year 2000. I was at on the Thames
Oh, that was brave.
A
Wow.
bit of a letdown, to be honest.
Oh.
They advertised it as some kind of river of fire, the fireworks display. Very disappointing. The rest of the fireworks, sensational, but this river of fire, no points.
I wanted to get some fireworks because I thought, the kids are older and they were kind of like, what are we doing? And maybe my hot chocolate and milk frother is not going to live up to the standards. As with this Christmas, it's a little bit loosey-goosey. I haven't got around to it. So I don't think we'll even make it to midnight, Gary, to be honest. I'm going to, it's too
George
late.
would be devastated.
Would he?
Yeah. Any resolutions, though? Thinking about that kind of thing?
No, I mean, I make them and then I forget about them. How can you improve on perfection, Gary? I'm just not sure.
I would like to be able to memorize my registration plate.
My mobile phone number. What is wrong with me? Why can't I remember my mobile phone number?
Well, we don't need to anymore, do it? It's all kind of pre-programmed in. But when you go to a hotel and you have to go to those machines to type in your registration plate, I have to do a photograph of my car and then put it as favourite so I can actually find it.
How often are you going to a hotel to put in your registration?
All the time.
Right, I do have a news resolution. My only news resolution is rather a selfish one, but it's one that I don't like to make goals that I can't stick to, but I am going to spend some more time writing my own plan and not just flying by the seat of my pants and just doing the Courtney DeWalter of what I feel like that day. So I'm going to spend some more time working backwards from my next race and writing my plan and then actually doing what's on the plan. Let's see what happens with that.
Have you thought, maybe you don't want to share this, have you thought about reaching out to a coach again?
Yeah, I have thought about that, but also I'm quite excited about working with myself. I like me as a coach. I know myself inside out. No one knows Eddie better than Eddie. And I've got some new ideas. I've been pulling threads from different knowledge things. So I want to implement that myself. I practice, what was it called? Prototype on myself before I give it to other people. So no, I'm happy coaching myself. I just need to spend some time like really thinking about what I'm actually doing to where I want to get to and how I'm going to do it, because my next race is much more specific time based. Anyway, don't you hate it when people do that on podcasts? I hate it. And I'm like, oh yeah. Anyway.
It's a tease. Keep you coming back.
It's not really. It's just that I haven't really 100%. I'm still struggling with 5 miles. The thought of it. What about you? So you're going out partying tonight with your son, underage drinking at hotels?
Well, I'm just thinking, can I do my number plate? NE14.
No, don't say your number plate on the podcast.
NE14 BJ. Yeah.
Surely you can remember those last 2 letters.
Today, fun times actually. We are going to, sad times, Ed's away in Saltburn with her friends. New Year's Eve down in Saltburn. That'll be lovely. But myself, George and Lisa, we're off to Durham this afternoon. Yeah, we'll be queuing up a Glute later on.
How did you find Glute? You like, I'm going to head down that back alley. What were you doing down there?
Probably wasn't there when you were there. There's a real kind of gentrified coffee shop called Flat White down there now.
What, next to Glute, down that dirty alley?
Next to Glute, yeah. Is it Flat White? Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like a magnet drawn into Glute. So yeah, just a nice stroll around Durham, have some, it's called the Riverside Cafe, I think, and then George loves a Chinese buffet, so we might surprise him.
This sounds so, can we come? It's only a few hours from us, so we can come meet you. Because I said to Bryn, why don't we get thing is, because I was a little bit younger, a takeaway's a bit lost on the littler ones, because they're like,
a buffet though, Eddie.
Yeah, buffet, because Evie could just eat the prawn crackers.
Yeah, but I'd pay the price for not being a fussy eater. My goodness, mate.
Oh, Gary, tomorrow you're going to be so dehydrated. Get those electrolytes.
Right. Resolutions wise, well, generally I'm going to up the intensity a little bit with my running, and the intensity is very low, so it's not going to be anything special over on Strava. But it's just time to take my hand out of we talk about the cookie jar, all these races out there. Well, I actually mean the physical cookie jar. I need to take my hand out of the cookie jar. Just a little bit more intensity. Resolutions. Yeah, just tidy up. If you set me a plan, Eddie, I would do all of this. I'd probably do like 99% of the plan. No problem whatsoever following that kind of thing.
If I set you a plan, Gary, every week, say.
But it's and especially as I get older, it's the little details I don't really respect until it's too late, and it's like a week before the race, and it's like, oh shit. So
must work on my hip flexors. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Basically, the strides. I think I was talking to Robbo, like on this training plan that we all follow. Every week there's probably 2 or 3 hill strides, and there are only like 4 or 6 of them. Goodness me, I must have done them maybe about 6 times all of last year. So yes, improve the sleep, 100% improve that food quality. Just pay a bit more attention to all the little details. 2024, yeah, I didn't really enjoy huge parts of it. And 2025 is going to be tougher. It's 7 months. And that sounds like a hell of a long time, but that will prove to me how much I actually wanted if I can be a bit more disciplined for 7 months. I'm not saying give up these things forever, just for 7 months of my life. Can I take these things a bit more seriously? And then I can step back from all kinds of tops and Lakeland 100 and go, yeah, I'll give it my best shot.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you all. Please share the episode, the pod, share the love, pop over to YouTube, subscribe, or even consider joining Patreon. Thanks to X Miles Precision Fuel Hydration, Shots, Phoenix Light UK, and Protein Rebel for sponsoring this week's show. New customer discounts codes: T10 for Shocks, T15 for Protein Rebel, and T24 Precision Fuel and Hydration. Thank you to our partners and patrons too. We couldn't do this without you and your ongoing support.
Let the trail rise to meet you and the wind always be on your back. Be kind to your future self. Breathe and believe. Progress, not perfection. And there probably will be a lot of noise coming your way in 2025. So keep your shield high. Just keep being you. My name is Gary Thwaites.
And I'm Eddie Sutton.
And that was episode 102 of the Tea and Trails podcast.
It sounds like when you said, and there will probably be a lot of noise coming at you, as if there's going to be some heavy flatulence.
Yeah.
Just keep that shield high.